Hello. This is the first lesson in the eighth fetter, and to be completely honest with you, I am so reluctant to make all the lessons for this fetter. I'm fine with creating lessons for the ninth and the 10th fetter. I really do not want to make the lessons for the eighth. And if you have watched interviews with me as well, I'm skipping over when I'm talking about all the fetters. I'm skipping over the eighth fetter every single time because it's something that makes me very uncomfortable to talk about. Not in a one-to-one with a person and where I know where the other person is, but to make a video that is going to be up on YouTube where you might see this video when you're not supposed to, where it's not for now. That really makes me reluctant. And it was also when I started with the curriculum 2 years ago. This fetter was the reason why I was considering for so long to do it. Because where you're at now, if you have done the curriculum, then you're in a space where the self has fallen. There's not an I anywhere. There's no resentment or envy or anger or fear, anger, guilt, and shame or anything towards anyone. You have done the unpinning, you have done the time travel, and you completely see that all the stories you held on to your entire life, with your childhood being dysfunctional and your parents not being, caring and concerning about you in a way that you needed to, all that was just stories. You know that it's not real. It's not real. It's just stories. So there's like this relief in you, and you might already be there where you wake up in the morning and you just feel like you're part of everything. I'm going to make an exercise also in this fetter that speaks into that part of you, that you can sit out in nature and you inhale the clouds and you exhale, a waterfall, and you're part of everything, and you feel that huge I am sense that is talked about in Advaita, where it's that being part of everything, that you're part of the universe. There's not a little ego I anymore. It's like being a part of something so much bigger. And if that's where you're at right now, and you are finding yourself waking up every morning and you are happy and you're content and you have never felt this free in your entire life, if that is you, I really would like for you to stop watching right now. I would like for you to stay there where you are right now. Skip the 8th fetter. Watch the 9th and the 10th fetter. You can always come back to this lesson at a later point. There's no need for you to hear this and do the sequence of the 8th fetter right now. I would like for you to stay in that open, loving expansion. Yeah, that expansionness that you are in, where everything is just beautiful and you feel so much love towards everyone. I really would like for you to stay there as long as possible. So if you are happy and content in your life, this is not the lesson for you. This is not the fetter for you to work with. I really would like for you to stop watching right now. And I'm not saying it as a teaser for you to go like, ooh, and now I really want to hear. Don't. Really, honestly, don't. Skip the 8th fetter and go straight to the 9th and the 10th fetter and come back to the 8th when you're ready. And if you feel that if you are not happy in life, and if you do not feel content and love, if you feel super identified, then this is the lesson for you. But if you're at the point where everything is just beautiful and wonderful, please don't listen to this. Skip the entire fetter. And if you feel that I'm stalling, you are absolutely right. I am. I have also all the lessons in the 8th fetter are going to be called something immensely boring, so it's not clickbait in any way. I don't want 1,000 views on the 8th fetter. I'm fine with that in the other lessons, but not the 8th fetter. And the reason is that expansive, loving feeling that you have is part of the I am delusion. And no matter if you spell I am with a small I or capital I, if you talk about the self as a small self, ego self, or a big self, you talk as if there is a kernel of a me. And this lesson and the entire fetter is for you who wants to dissolve even that. So in the 6th fetter we talked about that's when we work with the subject-object delusion, the I am here and I am looking at everything out there. So there's kind of like an experiencer, experiencing, and that is dissolved in the 6th and the 7th fetter. In the 7th fetter we talked about that there cannot be an experiencing. That's something out of nothing. There can be an very expansive experience, but there cannot be anyone experiencing. And in the 8th fetter, we're dissolving that. So you know that there's not a separate self, but you might have that feeling that there's kind of like a kernel of a me that is observing or reflecting or being part of something. That you still look at something and you know that whatever you look at is not what you think it is. But whatever you look at it's and think it is, it's just what you think it is. It's not what it actually is. It's just what your retina is picking up. A signal is being given to the brain, and the brain is sending a signal to you, the part of the brain that goes like, okay, that's a plant. I know that. The brain could give you a wrong signal and it would actually be a cat, but it gives you a signal as if it's a plant. And when you're working with the 6th fetter, the more you're working with the 6th fetter, the more you are dissolving the 6th fetter, the more you also play with it, the more you experience that what you're looking, it's really warm, but I'm still sweating because I'm really not comfortable making this lesson. Anyways, that whatever you look at or hear will be morphing in front of your eyes because you no longer believe in your senses. So if you look at something and it comes into your brain, that's, a chipmunk. That is not, it's not taken as truth. It's just taken as a signal that is going back and forth, like light happens in a flicker, or darkness happens when you turn the light off. It's just like happening like that. It's not truth in any way. So that animal you see running over the lawn, you might have a signal from the brain saying, that's a chipmunk, and then it morphs in front of your eyes and becomes a cat, and then it morphs in front of your eyes and becomes a dog, until it morphs and becomes into a lawnmower, So that not holding on or believing in any of your senses is what is really setting you free, and that is what we're working with in the 10th fetter. So it's that not believing in anything that you see, hear, smell, taste, touch. You know that it cannot be true. It can just be what is picked up by the senses. A signal is given to the brain and a signal is given back. So that unhooking has happened. And there is a trap in that I'm going to make another video where I talk about the difference between Advaita Vedanta, which is the Hindu type of non-duality, and then the Anatta, which is the Buddhist kind of non-duality. In the Hindu type, it's based on Hinduism, and it's a belief. It's a religion, which means that it's not about your direct experience. It's a belief that you take on, and a belief is a thought. So that expansive beautifulness, I am part of the universe, is a thought. In the eighth fetter, we dismantle even that. We dismantle the feeling of hope and positivity and all concepts and all beliefs, positivity, all of that is completely dismantled in the eighth fetter, because all of those only hold a value in a thought. And we would like for you to experience life without a thought, or at least experience it in a way where no matter if a thought comes up, it's not believed in. It's not hold onto or hooked into as a truth. There is really no knowing what is the truth, and that is what we talk about in the 10th fetter. A belief is always based on a thought. And you can believe in something, for example, believe in religion, or believe in non-duality, or believe in yourself, or believe in anything, any concept that you believe in. But because belief is created in the mind with a thought, the other side of it is doubt. And that's why we created the second fetter the way that we did, for you to, when you discover that you have identified with a belief, I believe in myself, or I believe in I'm a part of the universe, or I believe in non-duality, or I believe in anything. We created the second fetter for you to work with now, with this insight. Can you be in a world where that even that belief goes, where you let go of the thought? And it's a comforting thought, that it kind of like gives you somewhere to stand. So when there's no self and that is completely dissolved, there's a little kernel of a me that is reincarnated and that is part of the universe. And I'm not saying that reincarnation is not true, and that there's not, that you're not a part of the universe, because that would then be another belief. We're not saying that one thing is more correct than the other, because that would be another belief. That would be another concept. And we are getting to the end of the fetters. And that is where all the fetters needs to be dissolved. All of the concepts that we have created needs to be dissolved, because they were only created as a raft, like in the Buddhist story where there's a raft for you to cross a river. And when you get to the other side of the river, you leave the raft and move on foot. You do not carry the raft with you. And that is where we're starting to lean towards now in the 8th, 9th, and 10th fetter material, where we would like for you to let go of the raft, let go of the fetters, and just be in that open space where you cannot come down on one side and saying that non-duality is true. You cannot come down on the side and saying non-duality is not true. You do not know. You do not know. You cannot come down on one side and saying, I am a part of the universe. I feel the universe breathing through me. But you cannot come down on the other side saying, I'm not part of the universe, nihilism, and then we die. That is a belief too. So it's really staying in that open space. And when you are here, what you are experiencing more and more, and what you're opening up to more and more, is to be in that expansive openness where there are no thoughts connected to it. Obviously, you will still be thinking. Your receptors in your meat suit still pick up on stuff. It doesn't mean that it's true. It's just what is picked up on. It's part of our survival. And it's the only way that you can drive a car and pay your taxes and have a life going on. But it doesn't mean that you need to, leave all your eggs in that basket. We really would like for you to stay in that open expansiveness where there are no thoughts. There is experiencing, there is just experience. The thing is that what I'm trying to convey with words cannot be talked about. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. And it's that experience without adding any words, without adding any thoughts. It's that not coming down on what I'm looking at outside my window is a tree. I need to be open for it not to be a tree. I need to be open for not knowing what anything is. Even though it seems to be a tree, I do not know what that actually means. I can take a leaf, I can take a branch, I can take a root, I can take some bark. The individual parts of it doesn't make it into a tree, something else does. And we do not know what that is, just like we talked about. When is a table a table? How many parts do you pick apart? How much do you put together from an IKEA box until it becomes a table? It's that staying in that openness where there are no hooks to anything being in a certain way. Everything around you can be in exactly the way that it is without you needing to interpret what it is. Other people can be exactly like they are without you needing to have an opinion about it. That is not needed at all. There's no you needed in that at all. And letting go of that is the last kernel that is left, and that is here in the eighth fetter. So that even that little me that it feels like is there, look into what is that exactly, just like you did in the first fetter. The eighth fetter is paired with the first fetter. So it's just like the big self, the I am, who am I, and all of that, I get my childhood and my past and all of that. It's just all of that is gone now, but there's still that little kernel of a me in here that still needs to be questioned. You still need to unpin that. You still need to look into what is it in that makes this feel real. It is only a thought. And if you say, no, it's like more a sensation, okay, look into that without adding any words. What exactly does it feel like? It goes like that maybe in the chest. It might be a buzzing in your feet. Is that the kernel of a self? Are you sure? How do you know? And again, I'm not saying that there's not a little kernel of a me anywhere, and there's not a God and there's not a soul and all of that. I'm not saying that there is either. It's the middle way. That's what's so beautiful with Buddhism. It's the middle way. You cannot come down on either side. And you will hear me saying in talks, in inquiry groups where I go like, you have no soul. There is no God. But that doesn't mean that you do not have a soul or that there isn't a God. It doesn't mean that there is a God or you do have a soul. You need to be in the middle way. It needs to be in that space of the not knowing, because everything else is just mind creations. It's not real. It's just mind creations. And if you close your eyes and you sit and breathe and just notice, detach all thoughts and just notice, what is it that is actually here? You cannot pin it, because the moment you pin it, you have lost it. You have created it into something out of nothing. So it needs to be in that unpinned, open space where anything can flux and flow in whichever way it does. And no matter what it does, it's fine, because it did that all along. And what I would like for you to do this week is looking into how many times you place your freedom somewhere else than right here. And that somewhere else is because there's still a grasping after something. There's still a grasping after, for example, this little me being here, this little kernel, or the big I am, or whatever you want to call it, is being part of the universe. That means that the freedom is somewhere else. It's in noticing all the time that you're part of that universe. That is a belief, it's a thought. The freedom is not elsewhere. The freedom is right here, right now, and it has been all along. It is in the middle way, where there is no knowing of anything. There's no concept of anything. So notice, what is it exactly when you think that there is an I, or there is a little kernel of something, part of something bigger, when you feel that your happiness and the love that you feel is because you're breathing through the universe? That is a thought. You're placing your freedom outside of you. The freedom is here right now. You are breathing, and you do not know what that means. It's that completely unpinning everything. So let's go through it. Are you ready to give up hope? Can you say, I'm letting go of hope because it's just a concept? Hope is not real. I can be in a world utterly without hope. Hope is not needed, because hope is a thought. Hope indicates a future. Hope indicates something else than what is here right now. That what is here right now is not okay. And what is here right now needs to change for things to be okay. But there is no future. Time does not exist. Hope can't exist. It's easy to let go of hope because it's not a thing. What is present right here, right now, is that pure expansive void, where there's no thoughts to explain what it is. It's just experiencing, it's just expanding, and there's no I connected to anything experiencing it. The moment you try to put a word onto it, you're losing its meaning. And that's why hope has no footing. There's no future. There's no need for hope. Because hope indicates that what is right now is not okay. Nothing in this moment needs to be any different. Everything right now is exactly like it's supposed to be, because it can't be anything else. And the same with possibilities. There are no possibilities. Where are we going? You can't be going anywhere. There's nowhere to go. So there's no possibilities anywhere. Possibilities is a thought. It's a thought about what is here. It's not up to par to what could be in the future. Time doesn't exist. There is no future. There is just this. It's an ego trick. There is nothing but this right now. Hope and possibilities are not a thing. In this pure expansive space that there's just experience, there is nothing but this. It is a snapshot of this and this and this. It's moving too quick for hope or possibilities even to be a thing. And it's only your mind that is weaving those snapshots together into an experience about time passing, into an experience of of hope actually having any value at all. That is just a creation of the mind. It's a belief. Let go of the belief. Just be in that open space where hope and possibilities are not even a thing. And it's the same with concepts. Concepts indicate a dogma. Concepts is creating a direction, a right and a wrong, and like the fetters, we created a concept for you to see through all the different types of identification that you have. It needs to drop. You need to be without the concept, because the concept is just a raft. It was a tool that helped you in seeing through in the different types of identification. And they're useful in crossing the river. So when you have identification with any kind of thought, the concept, the raft of the first fetter is useful. When you have a feeling of fear and guilt and shame, or a belief in your childhood being dysfunctional, anything like that, you needed to work with it. And for that, the concept of the second fetter was created, about doubt. And so on. All the 10 fetters are here, created as concepts, created as a raft for you to cross the river and then let go of. And in that, we need to create an I that knows, and that is what needs to be let go of now. You need to unpin that now. It just is. And then let go of positivity. Positivity is very, very often toxic, because a wish for positivity comes from the duality of negativity. Negativity is not okay. That is a belief. So therefore you try to be positive so you're not negative. It's an escape from a belief that you do not want to have. Positivity is just dualism. Can you let go of positivity? Can you be beyond positive and negative and just be? And just float in that space of contentment where there's not even an I or anything floating. It's just in that open space of contentment where there's not a label of positive and negative. So positivity goes. You're just letting go of it. And then I would like for you to let go of faith. Faith is there for something to take care of you. But who is the you that needs taken care of? There's a need for a thought to be reassuring and comforting. That is okay. It's fine. Don't work with the 8th fetter on that one though. Go to the 2nd fetter and work with that need of reassurance. Faith is something else outside of you, where the freedom lies, where you can feel that you are held and you're protected. If that need is there, then go to the 2nd fetter and work with it there. In the 8th fetter, faith is dissolved. There is no faith anywhere, because there's nowhere to have any faith in, and there's no one to have any faith. It's just an open space without a thought. It's just in your direct experience, and it's not even with thoughts about the direct experience. It's beyond that. And that is where beliefs are dissolved too. There's no soul, there's no God. But it's not a space where there's no soul or there's no God. We do not know what anything is. We need to be in that open space where you are agnostic to anything, where there's just being in an open space. There is no footing anywhere. There's no railing you can hold on to because you don't have to. You don't have to. So you're leaning into the 10th fetter of not knowing. Can you be with the not knowing, where it's just an open space? Can you be in that? Where the I is completely dissolved. There's not any belief in anything. There's no debate about consciousness or awareness or aware of awareness or big I or big self. There's none of that. None of that. Drop all of it. Just drop it. All that is beliefs and is created because life feels unsafe without a footing. And if that is the case, go to the 2nd fetter and work with it there. It's not for the 8th fetter. In the 8th fetter, that just drops. You are in the space where there are not even thoughts about it. It's just openness. And like I said, when there's no longer any belief in anything, there's nowhere for doubt to land. Which means by now, there's not even doubt. Doubt can only be there if there's a belief in something that needs to be affirmed or reassured. Drop it. Unpin the I and drop it. Thank you.